you talk to scouts, executives, GMs, it seems like 1/3 thinks that Edwards is the best prospect, the other third thinks that Ball is the best prospect, and then the other third thinks it's Wiseman. So it's completely split. There's no Zion Williamson, there's no John Morant in this draft, but the name to keep an eye on, and Jay Will mentioned it yesterday, is Patrick Williams. I've had so many people ask me about him over the last few weeks. I think he could go as high as 4 to the Chicago Bulls or as low as 7 to the Detroit Pistons, and he's a big, physically gifted wing, 230 pounds, 6'8", 7-foot wingspan. He's the second youngest player in the draft. Reminds you a little bit of like an OG Anunoby with the upside of maybe a Jaylen Brown. So he's the guy who's risen the most. And then Kyra Lewis as well out of Alabama. He's getting some lottery looks. De'Aaron Fox type of speed demon in the open court.
Mike, crazy for Patrick Williams, a guy that can come off the bench averaging 9 points and about 3 rebounds, could be a top 6 pick in the draft, right?
It's kind of circumstantial, honestly. Like the more you get away from what actually happened in the season, right? That was 7, 8, 9 months ago since scouts have really seen these players. So you don't look as much at the resume. You kind of lose sight of what they did over the course of 28, 30 games. And you start thinking in your head, man, how much could this kid have progressed over the last 8, 9 months? What can he become? And when you look at him through that prism, then you see a guy who could be a big-time wing in the NBA. So it's crazy to see kind of his rise. He's a player we had projected, I believe, in kind of the middle of the first round coming into the season. Didn't have a huge year, didn't even start a game for Florida State, but great program. They've churned out these wings year after year. Jonathan Isaac, they have Devin Vassell as well this year. So, I think he's kind of in that next group to have a major impact.
Mike, take me to the 8th pick in the draft, the New York Knicks. Okay, everybody's talking about they should grab Russell Westbrook. I'm trying to tell them, don't do that. Don't take the shiny object. Hope for it. Like with the 8th pick in the draft, do you see them trying to trade up? Will guys like Obi Toppin, will guys like Tyrese Halliburton, will they even be around by number 8? What do you see the Knicks doing?
I'm sure they've tried to trade up, whether that's all the way up to 4, 5, 6, and try to nab one of those two. I do think that one of them will be there when it's all said and done, whether that's Obi Toppin or Halliburton. I think Halliburton's the best fit. R.J. Barrett is a guy who's really at his best with the ball in his hands. He can play pick and roll. He can get downhill. And Halliburton is one of the guards in this draft who can play on the ball or off the ball. He's a ball mover. He doesn't need a bunch of volume to have an impact. Shoots over 40% from 3, high IQ player. And he would be great in the bright lights. Like his personality, he's very, very charismatic. So I love that fit for them if he makes it to 8. If not, I think Obi Toppin, not a bad consolation prize either.
Bard mentioned not having March Madness. He was the National Player of the Year at Dayton. Last thing for Mike Schmitz, our ESPN NBA draft analyst, as we get set for the draft tonight at 8 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN Television. Mike, when the last NBA season started, I know it seems like 10 years ago, but when the 2019-2020 season started, there were 108 players from foreign countries on NBA rosters. The game is global. The best international prospect this year seems to be this guy from Israel named Deni Advia. Tell me about him.
Yeah, so Denny is really exactly what you're looking for in today's game. He's a 6'10" wing who can shift really anywhere from 1 to 4 on both ends of the floor. And I call it kind of like a queen on the chessboard, right? That's the key versatile position that every team is looking for. And he comes to the NBA with over 100 games of experience. He's the youngest MVP in Israeli league history. He played a solid role at the EuroLeague level, the same league that Luka Doncic came out of. He's played against players like Nikola Mirotic, Alex Abrinas. He played with Amari Stoudemire. So he's coming from an NBA environment, a very pressure-packed environment. I mean, he's the most heralded Israeli prospect really in the history of that country.
And now we are joined by one of the top prospects in this year's draft, Lamelo Ball. Always so nice to have you back on the show. How crazy has this last week been for you?
I mean, it's definitely been crazy, but honestly, it feels like every other day, just leading up to the draft.
Well, we were talking off camera, you are more prepared for a crazy circus of a life than anyone else in this draft. And
Right.
Look, this whole process has been unconventional. How has the pandemic impacted your preparation for what is going to be the biggest night of your life so far?
Right. Definitely had a lot of time to be in the gym and definitely had time to spend with my family and just be working out. So in that aspect, it was nice to have. I'm not gonna lie, but everything that's going on with the world, not really. So.
That's for sure. And you've played basketball all over the world. Now that you're going to be back playing in America, do you have a specific team you would like to play for?
Honestly, don't have a specific team. I'm actually just very happy to be back in the States. Man, it feels like I've been gone for a minute. Definitely could play in front of my fellow people now in the States, so this is going to be nice.
For sure. What did you learn by being out in the world and away from home for all that time?
I definitely learned a lot. I mean, everywhere I went, I feel like it was a different living situation, a different aspect of life, just stuff that you can bring in and just help you as a person. So I definitely feel like everything helped me.
Well, that experience is going to play because you are going to have to go from being drafted right into training camp in just a few weeks. Right. Now, your brother Alonzo, I don't have to tell you this, he went second overall back in the 2017 draft. Do you talk about the possibility with him that you might go higher than he did? Are there friendly wagers on this between you two? Because I know how brothers are with each other, Lamelo.
Right. I mean, the most we ever do about it is probably just our jersey numbers. Say he's picked number 2 and he wear number 2 and I wear number 1, so I was pick 1. That's pretty much the only combos we had like that though. Other than that, not really too much. Just us trying to get better every day.
What kind of advice is Lonzo giving you?
I mean, we give each other advice and just help each other grow. So as brothers should. So that's pretty much that.
Well, he's certainly seen a lot, too, in his young NBA career, so I'm sure those are good conversations. You've also played against and with some veteran guys. One of the guys you faced in Australia's NBL last year was former number 1 overall pick Andrew Bogut. Very complimentary of your game. When asked about you on Sports Talk Radio in the Bay Area, here's what he said, quote, "He is an elite passer already. There's no doubt in my mind he's an elite passer. His basketball IQ from a playmaking position of running the point, pick and rolls, that's where he excels. In my opinion, he's already elite at that." Lamelo, you're not even in the NBA yet. So what is your reaction to hearing a former number 1 pick and, by the way, NBA champ say that he thinks you are already in the elite bracket in the NBA and those huge skills?
For sure. Yeah, that's respect to my man, and thank you for real.
I mean, where do you think you fit in those areas in playmaking and passing?
I feel like I fit in at the top. I mean, I'm very confident in my game. So, yeah, anything I do, I feel good about it.
Like the confidence. You know, over the years, we've seen some pretty incredible outfits at the draft. Now, this is going to be virtual, so you could wear like a bathing suit on the bottom half maybe if you want. I don't know if you're planning a walk-in, but on top, you got to look fresh. So do you have anything special planned for your wardrobe on draft night?
Yeah, I got a little YSL design suit. So, yeah, I should be nice.
I heard a rumor about some gold in this look for you.
Definitely. Got to have some gold. You feel me? They called me the golden child growing up, so just got to have some gold.
And there we go. Well, we can't wait to see what happens to you tomorrow night.